Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Energy Saver Tool demonstration webinar. We're going to give everyone a couple of minutes just to join the meeting, and then we will get started. But I do ask that while we're waiting on folks to join the meeting, if you can make sure that you are staying on mute, that will help to reduce the background noise through the presentation. And we will get started very soon. So as I said, thank you for joining the webinar today on the Energy Saver tool in our demonstration from the South Carolina Energy Office as part of Energy Action Month. My name is Landon Masters, and I'm the Community Outreach and Communications Manager for the South Carolina Office of Regulatory Staff, the state agency that the Energy Office is housed within. And we're joined today by Catherine Reed and Stacy Washington of the Energy Office that will be walking through the Energy Saver tool, a little bit of the background on the tool, and doing a live demonstration of the Energy Saver tool. So I will say a few housekeeping notes. As I mentioned, please put yourself on mute. Make sure that you're muted throughout the presentation, so that way we limit background noise. And I did put in the chat that if you have any questions throughout the presentations, feel free to put those there in the chat, and we will get to those live while we're doing the demonstration, or at the end when we have a Q&A. So with that, I will turn it over to Catherine with the Energy Office to get us started.
All right, thank you, Landon. And I want to first say welcome and thank you all for joining us and taking time out of your day. We're super excited to kick off Energy Action Month like this and to unveil one of our newest offerings that was a long time coming. And I also want to say, I'm looking at the participant list. I see a lot of familiar faces and names, and thank you all for joining us. It's nice to see all of you, and many of you have contributed information to this tool to make it what it is now, and we're excited about that. So let me just very quickly, I know most of you are familiar with what we do, but here's, just as a reminder, because we wear lots of hats. The Energy Office, we basically promote energy efficiency, renewable energy, and clean transportation through a variety of program areas, and a lot of you are involved in a lot of these program areas. So we provide technical assistance, as you know, through a lot of our trainings. We provide financial assistance through our funding programs that we offer, education and outreach, of which this is sort of a key component that we're doing today. And we maintain an energy data clearinghouse for the state. And another thing we do, of course, is implementing the state energy plan. And this is a good segue into what we're going to be talking about. Let me see if I can advance the slide. Oops, yes. I do want to say just real quick for context, it's something that's important to know. South Carolina is not unique in terms of having an energy office. Oh, let me go back. Oh, sorry. We are actually funded through the U.S. Department of Energy. We're housed within the Office of Regulatory Staff, but we receive our funding from the U.S. Department of Energy. And every one of the 50 states, the territories, and Washington, D.C. each has an energy office. And what's great about that is that we have a lot. We exchange information with our peers, and we learn a lot from each other, but we also have the flexibility of having programs that are tailored to our particular states. And then that's something that makes, I think, the work we do really rewarding. So let me see if I can, I'm sorry, I'm trying to advance the slide and I'm not. Sorry, Landon, can you, I don't know if I can drive this thing. Oh, I see now. Sorry, everyone. This is the new normal. We're trying to learn. There we go. So state energy plan. So just how we came about with this energy saver tool. As many of you know, a lot of you were involved, who were on the call, were involved in this. Back in 2016, the Energy Office and Office of Regulatory Staff launched the state energy plan stakeholder process, which was very comprehensive. It went over a long period of time. This was before my return to the Energy Office, but I certainly know that it had a lot of participation from the broad spectrum of stakeholders. And within that, during that process, there was a financing subcommittee that identified the need for sort of an overview, an inventory of what programs are out there in our state. And there was a recognition that there's no one stop you can go to locate that information. So there was always this call that we heard through that process, and then subsequent time periods where people would say, yes, we know that utilities have this and community action agencies have this, and there's funding opportunities from this nonprofit, but there's no one place to go to locate all that information. So we started off with a program inventory that we were very much involved in, and then we wanted to make it accessible to folks. So instead of people calling our office and saying, can you tell us what's out there, to really have a web-based tool that makes it accessible to the entire state. So one of the things that back when I started at the Energy Office in 2018, we already had in the works another sort of stakeholder. It was a one-day workshop, but it was basically bringing all the different entities throughout the state to discuss the same issues. And basically we have been hearing this repetitive call for someone needs to take the lead to sort of coordinate house this information and commit to updating it. So we basically answered that call at that point. Just so you know, what's on the slide here is called the NASIO Financing Roundtable. That was through the National Association of State Energy Officials. That's a national organization that supports all the state energy offices. And so that was it. That was another public forum at which we heard this call very loud and clear. And so you can see this tool that we've been working on has been a long time coming. And we were really excited back in sort of, I guess, early 2019, we formed a partnership with the state's web developer, which is, it used to be called SD Interactive, and now it's called NIC. I'm not sure if that acronym stands for anything, but basically they have been essential in helping to make this possible. So we've been working with them pretty closely over the last year and a half. And we basically told them, here we have the content and this is what we want to accomplish. And they basically made it happen through all the wizardry that they have with their programmers and their web developers. So it took about 2 years to set this up. And we're so excited today to have our ribbon cutting with all of you here. The one thing, and I just did want to, before we get into this, I did want to mention, I think I skipped the slide, and I'm sorry, it was just a driver error on my part. I think I skipped the slide that basically talked about Energy Action Month. You can see Landon and I have in the background a little bit of the promotional swag, but basically the Energy Action Month is the month of October, and it's also celebrated nationwide. We're thrilled. Oh, thank you, Landon. We're thrilled that once again the governor has issued a proclamation in support of this, and I just think it's really important to have that support. And what it does is it kind of underscores why caring about energy and making improvements in energy efficiency and cleaner energy sources is important for the state. And you can see there's a little microscopic little version of the proclamation, but I did want to outline just a couple of highlights from that proclamation that came from the governor. Just a couple of little clauses I wanted to share. Whereas conserving and using energy more efficiently protects South Carolina's valuable natural resources and improves air quality in the Palmetto State. Whereas renewable energy development can offer employment and economic opportunities while contributing to a sustainable South Carolina. Whereas increasing public interest in innovation in energy and transportation benefits our future generations. Whereas increasing energy efficiency and renewable energy development in public and private facilities represents financial savings for South Carolinians. Whereas the State Energy Office advances South Carolina's energy strategy and policy through education and outreach. Working together, we are energy in action. So Governor McMaster has supported this, and the previous governors have supported this as well. And we're really excited to have that validation at a state level for the work that all of us do. And all of you on the call, I think, are all involved in some aspect of this. That's why you're tuning in today. So we're really excited about that. So, okay, I will now try to get back to where, unless Landon has to drive me there, to kicking off the tool. So you understand, we're excited that Stacy's going to walk us through an actual live presentation of the tool, and that's probably the most useful thing instead of having me talk about it. But just so you know, we launched this in August of 2020, so this year, and it's basically designed to be a lookup tool for both residential customers and commercial customers in South Carolina throughout the entire state, regardless of utility. We have listed there grants and loans, rebates that utilities provide, tax incentive opportunities, and we even have a special search function for if someone identifies as residential low income, because there are a lot of programs available that are relevant and essential really to advancing the cause for low income residents in the state. What we like about it as well, and Stacy will get into this, you can print and export results. So we recognize that not everyone has internet access. So when we are finally able to go out into the community, like we hope once COVID settles down, it'll give us an opportunity if we're going into an area where internet access isn't as prevalent, we will be able to go ahead and sort and download the relevant information and bring hard copies if necessary to those communities. So that they have access to this information, and there's a phone number, there's not just a website, and we have information on how to access that information. The other thing I wanted to point out, let me advance the slide. There's the tool that Stacey's going to walk us through, but the website, the Energy Saver, also we decided to have it be also a resource for energy saving tips. So if you'll see here, there's one section where you can click on for your home, and it'll list, you can sort by different categories, but it'll allow you to understand what you can do in your home to make your home more efficient and to save money and to save energy dollars. And similarly with for commercial entities, there's a section, and it links to a lot of sites that are sort of national, or they're sort of well vetted types of information. So we're really excited about having a one-stop shop for this information. And we're super excited about the functionality of the tool, which Stacy will get into right now. So Stacy, I guess I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Catherine. Let me share my screen. Sorry about that, I had it up. So first you go to energysaver.sc.gov and you see Energy Saver tool here. So that's how you can access the tool. Click on that. And a short way to get to it is the URL energysaver.sc.gov/tool. So if you're ever trying to show someone how to get to this tool, that's where you would take them. Before we get into the tool, I just want to make a note that all of the information in the tool will be updated every December. We do a report every December for the demand side management and energy efficiency programs in the state. So this is a good way for us to make sure it's at least once a year fully updated. So if there's information that is not up to date, please let us know throughout the year. We will update as we find out, but a full update of the programs for sure will be by December of each year. So let's go into the tool. So if you enter the tool, you click on Use the Energy Saver tool. and you can choose for your home or for your business. So we're going to start off with for your home. And when you click on for your home, you can choose your utility. So, you know, we encounter a lot of people who don't know who their electric utility is. So we have this map where you can go and find out who your electric utility is. So you just click on that if you don't know. Thinking. And then you can enter your address where it says ST Electric Utility Service Areas. You can enter an address there and it'll populate your utility. Then you can go back and enter your utility. So I'm going to start off with a Dominion. And sometimes it does take a while for this to populate, so please be patient. And then you can choose, I think I qualify for low income or I do not qualify. So I'm going to start off with I do not qualify for low income programs. And as you can see, I want to mention too, it'll on each screen it'll tell you where you are in the tool. So this one says for your home, Dominion Energy. So if you do not qualify for low income, then you get your list of programs. So each list will start off with the utility programs, and then you'll find tax incentives that are available to you. So the solar programs that are available to you as well. All of that will populate. In addition to it being electronic, as Catherine mentioned, you can export to CSV or Excel or to a PDF. So I'm going to show you what a PDF will look like. So your PDF will look like this, and you'll have a link to programs as well as contact information there. And as I said before, it says for your home, Dominion Energy, South Carolina, so you know what you selected for this particular PDF. So if you go out into the community or if you're going somewhere, you can print these out and hand them out as handouts to the different entities. So also, if you're looking at many different scenarios, please make sure you click start over before you do a different scenario. Please don't hit the back button because that'll confuse the system and you won't get the right result. So now I'm gonna start over and do a low income situation. So for your home, I'll do Dominion again. And then I think I qualify for low income programs. Now the change here is that you enter your county. And the reason we have you enter your county is because the low income programs, many of them are specific to certain counties. The weatherization assistance program, the low income home energy assistance program, and even the home repair programs are specific to different counties. And once again, we have a map here in case you don't know your county. I'm gonna enter Richland. And once again, you get the Dominion program, and you also get their low income program, the Neighborhood Energy Saver program here. And then if you keep going down, we have Aunt Bertha, Network, Habitat for Humanity, Home Repair, some grants and tax incentives, loans. I also mentioned the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. That's out of Wateree Community Actions. Some more home repair programs, and then also the Weatherization Assistance Program. And the thing to note here is the LIHEAP program is from one community action agency, but the weatherization is through another. So this gives you the different ones that are for each for that county. It's different. So that's one of the things we're trying to help people with, is knowing what programs, who to contact for what program. And I also want to note that you click on the different links here to get to the different programs. So you have contact information, and then you have the link. And when you do the PDF, the link will be a separate column. So now I'm going to go and do an example for a business. So you click on for your business. And then once again, you choose your utility. This time I will do Duke Carolinas. And you'll notice for our business, you can choose commercial, industrial, public entity, or nonprofit. And there are question marks or helpful hints on each one to know what type of business it is. It will qualify in those different categories. So for commercial industrial, we have business, manufacturing, farms, public entity, local government, universities, school districts, and nonprofit 501c. So that way, if you're confused, just click on the question mark. So I'm going to do an example of commercial industrial, and you'll see the programs populate. Once again, with the utility programs first, and then any business programs. So we have the Clemson Industrial Assessment Center, tax credits, grants, all there for you. And next, I'm going to show you another feature of the tool. Under use the Energy Saver tool, there's search by category. So I'll click on that. And in this section, you have a few options. The first is you can search by a specific program name. So if you're, as Landon says, an energy nerd and know the name of the program, you can type it in there and just find information for that program. You can also export the file of all the programs in an Excel file, which may be helpful if you're doing some type of research. And then you can look at different categories. If you just want to know about grants and loans, if you just want to know rebates, you just want tax incentives, if you only want to look at low income, electric, natural gas, solar, and transportation, you can do all of those and just do that one category. So I'm going to show you solar. And this time I'll do Duke Progress. And this just will show the Duke programs as well as any tax incentives, grant opportunities, things like that for solar. And once again, you can export to a PDF or Excel file for this information as well. And I'm going to go back and do the search. I saw a lot of public entities on here, so I'm going to do that for them as well. So for your business, and this time I'll do Carolinas. Well, let me do a co-op because I want to mention too, we have the cooperatives and the municipalities in here as well. So it's not just the big people or the investor-owned utilities. Let's see, I'll do Berkeley. Public entity. And so it starts off with the Berkeley program, and then it shows you any other incentives that are available for public entities. And I want to highlight our concert fund program shows up for the public entities there. So you can see those opportunities. And I did want to open it up to right now for any requests. If anybody would like to I can't see the chat, so Landon, can you just let me know if anybody puts a request in? But if anybody has a request and wants to try it out, we can do that.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any specific requests come in through the chat for a specific situation, but Adrian did make a very good point in talking about public libraries that can publicize the tool for residents that don't have internet access at home. So, you know, they could share information, and that may be a good avenue for us, you know, to think about in terms of communicating about the tool, having some sort of handout or something that they could have there to be able to talk to people, as hopefully one day they will go into the library and be able to get on the computers and things like that if they're not able to right now, and use the tool there. And that's a great suggestion. Thank you.
And any questions anybody has?
So we have a question about, is there any information specific to manufactured homes and that much of the information is applicable to any type of home, but for things like weatherization, the manufactured homeowners need specific things like windows, doors, things like that.
And that would be in the tips part more. We do have programs in the tool that are for manufactured homes. For example, South Carolina has a manufactured housing tax credit. But as far as tips, that would be in the tip part of the Energy Saver website. And then there are, the utilities do have, I know for example, Dominion does have, for their neighborhood program, it has a specific manufactured housing component to that.
And the one thing that I would say, I'd like to just sort of tag on to that. We welcome, continued feedback. We recognize that this is not a one and done kind of thing. We already, when we first launched it in August, we did get some updates from some of the utilities who said, oh, we've made some changes. And some of them, we will update everything by December of every year, but we can update a lot of things. If there's significant changes in the interim, we can do that more frequently. So do let us know if you see that there's a gap in information, if there's something that's missing that you think would be useful. We would welcome your input. This is really the result of so much stakeholder feedback, and we want that conversation to continue, and we want it to be really useful to everyone. So please don't hesitate to let us know if you have ideas. So thank you for that. And Adrian, I love the idea about sharing this with the libraries. I think that's an excellent way to do it, because often the libraries, especially under non-COVID circumstances, that's where people go if they don't have internet access. But it'd be so fantastic if we can sort of help them be aware of this. So thank you.
And I also wanted to mention that on the Energy Saver website, I don't know if you can navigate back to the main homepage of energysaver.sc.gov. So on there, we also have contact information for utilities. So really, if anyone has a question about utility programs or anything, they can go here to find the specific contact information for their utility. This website is set up to be, as Catherine said, the one-stop shop for, all things energy efficiency and program related for consumers. So if they do have questions, you can see Stacy's navigating to the investor and utility section, which lists all of the investor and utilities. And it also breaks out their general contact information and information specific for solar, because some of the utilities do have, specific websites, web pages, or phone numbers that are specific about solar information. So I know that we at one point had this information on energy.sc.gov, but it will now be moved to energysaver.sc.gov.
But I will say there will be the ability to get there from our respective websites. We'll try to make sure it's obvious, because we recognize that we also have the solar website as well. So we recognize the need to make sure that they're all talking to each other.
Exactly. Yes. We are in the midst of migrating a lot of our websites to a new platform with the NIC folks that helped us create this tool and website. So this is actually the new platform right now that we built energysaver.sc.gov on, that our energy office website will be migrating to very soon. So this is actually more upgraded than our energy office website is right now in terms of aesthetic and usability. So I do have a question for you guys. I know that there are other websites that list programs such as Desire and other things. So how are we interacting with those, or what's the plan for some of that? Those other websites moving forward. How do we see this helping that or informing that effort?
Well, so Landon mentioned, it sounds really funny. I think they should change their name. Everybody's always like, it raises eyebrows when you talk about the Desire website, but that is actually the database of state, I always forget the acronym, but basically it's through for NC State, and it's basically an inventory of tax credits and other kinds of programs. So it's a fantastic resource, and we use it all the time, but it's just funny when people say the word desire, we're like, huh? It doesn't sound, but we basically, yeah, we and I think Stacy can speak to better to our how we intend to update this, but we basically try to ensure that all the data that we have on this website is up to date and reflects the latest developments. Of course, that's a big effort because that's a lot of information to keep track of. So we do ask those of you who are responsible for programs or aware of programs to make us aware, you know, when there are changes or if there are inaccuracies at this point or if it needs to be updated. But we really recognize that this is sort of a more comprehensive tool for South Carolina residents, and we're excited to finally have a way to sort of manage and have this information accessible to folks, and hopefully in a useful way. But we're looking forward to feedback. You know, we did a lot of testing over the summer before it went live. We tried to break the system. We all received the assignment to go in and try to break it, like make it see, you know, make it ask all these questions and see if it's gonna work for you. And we hope we worked out all the kinks, but do let us know if there's either problems with the system or problems with the information. So Stacey, did you want to add any more to that?
Right, yeah, I just wanted to mention on the difference in this site and Desire is that Desire is just one long list of different programs, and this one you can sort by your utility. And we've also added the weatherization program and light heat program and home repair programs to that, to make it one place where people can find their information specific to them, because you have to know the name and what type of program you're looking for, and you have to know a little bit more to navigate the Desire site.
That's a good point. Yeah. And we're getting another question about from Anna about how long did this take to create? Maybe a little bit more about the process again with the NIC folks.
So I don't know how far back we should go on that. It was part, like Catherine mentioned, of the energy plan, and then at the end of 2018, we had a meeting where we said we would do this as part. So maybe around March of 2019, I believe we met with, maybe the summer of 2019, we met with the NIC. So really about a year and a half process from meeting with NIC and getting everything together. The big part was getting the list of programs in the spreadsheet, and that was done already through the energy plan process. That was the big, and then just making sure that we keep information up to date. That's another big part, but that had already been done pretty much. So that was the big lift, and then working with Nick on the design of the site and how we wanted, you know, the functionality to work. They were really easy to work with.
Yeah, and I think too, another thing that we could share is that we are trying to get folks to this website. So we're doing a lot of outreach. You know, I think that the libraries was a great idea. We have worked with the South Carolina Department of Motor Vehicles, and we currently have ads running with them right now. I don't really know what the actual in-person DMV experience is like right now, but during normal times, you know, there are the screens that are in the DMVs where they have rolling images or video on them, and so Energy Saver is one of those right now, and it will be for the next I think 4 or 5 months. So we had like a total 6-month plan with them, and it is actually no cost for state agencies. So it's great that, you know, we're able to partner with DMV as well another great partnership between state agencies to promote something that we've done. We're getting some comments that much easier to review than desire. So I think that's a good plus for us, and looking forward to sharing it with customers. So that's awesome. So we're getting a question about any plans to include EE or energy efficiency or renewable financing programs in the future, like bank or credit union programs.
Yeah, and I would say, go ahead.
Know about them, please share. I don't know about any currently, but if you know about them, we'd love to include as much information as we can.
Yeah, and so certainly I think we do have information about our, for example, our mini grants program, I believe is listed on here. Our concert fund loan and grant program, these are for public entities. Even our energy efficiency revolving loan program that's administered by the Business Development Corporation through funding from the Energy Office. That's also listed on here, but as hopefully if the state and if indeed the results of the EE roadmap were able to move forward on perhaps a green bank or some kind of other funding mechanisms, I think we would anticipate providing that information on here as well. We don't want this to be kind of like oh, we did this back in 2020. We want this to be an ongoing thing. And I believe there's been too much work put into it, and there's too much information that's important to so many entities in the state for us to not continue to update this and have it grow as needed. So, yeah, thank you.
I think that was one of, a big thing that was identified in the energy plan was that, we need some central resource for consumers to be able to access programs. So we can now check this box that we have the central resource, and we'll continue to keep that as updated as possible. But now it is important to make sure that consumers are able to access this information, and that they are able to either get access at a library or a church or something where if they don't have internet access at home, they can get a printout of programs and information so that they can make those connections either with their utility or community action agency or whoever it may be, and start those conversations if they need help.
And I would just add to that, Landon, we've been working closely with the South Carolina Association of Community Action Agencies, and Stacy has had a especially strong relationship with them. I can anticipate providing, as needed, as they see the community action agencies might need, we could help them provide this as a handout or resources moving forward. So
we're getting.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, I just put up on here the list that we do have of grants and loans, and a lot of utilities have some, especially the cooperatives have loan programs on financing available. So, and it can also be used for solar. So just depending on your utility too, that can be a resource.
Yes. And we're getting a question about energy efficiency for renting homes, and kind of if there are programs or what's, in that area of energy efficiency in rental homes.
Well, the one thing I would just say, certainly that's a big challenge, and that's something that we've certainly worked at addressing through the energy plan and also through the energy efficiency roadmap. But in terms of resources, one of the things that's been just one example I can think of is that there are I certainly know that sort of like through Dominion, for example, they have an online lighting store, or if they do more than lighting as well. I believe Duke has also rebates for residential customers as well. There's also the home, I think even a renter could use a home energy checkup, and those programs are continuing among a lot of the utilities. So I think while it doesn't solve all the problems, it does provide some resources to address that challenge of inefficient rental properties.
And even too, for the multifamily type of situations, there are multifamily programs. Dominion has a new one that they're starting, and then Duke has their program for, so that would be for the landlord, the owner of the property, to make improvements, but they do have those for the properties.
And then the specific question is about landlords and weatherization, getting help with weatherization. I know there are the weatherization programs through the community action agencies, but can you expand upon that?
So I believe the weatherization programs are for if you have to, well, you can work out something if you don't own the owner of the property has to agree to go into the process and getting the upgrades. That's for low income. So you'd have to, if you're renting and you are a low income customer who wants to get the weatherization assistance, you do have to go through the property owner.
So can a landlord, say if a landlord directly wants to get assistance, what kind of programs might they be? Would they still be eligible for that weatherization program, or how does that work?
That I guess if the person that's living there is low income, then they would have to then connect with the owner of the property to do that. I don't know if Natasha, I think, was on here. Maybe she knows more. I don't know all the specifics about the weatherization.
In fact, Natasha just responded, so she's
okay.
Low-income tenants, this is from Natasha Pauling, low-income tenants are eligible for assistance through community action agencies. So the weatherization is available specifically for tenants. They would have to apply.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm just reading the Pamela saying the question is not about the tenant, but about the landlord.
I mean, I guess the tenant is the low income person who would qualify for the program. So they would need to be the initiator of the assistance. If the landlord wants to do that, they could talk to their tenant and say, you know, we'd like to get this done, and then proceed with the process.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these problems, this is an example of the complexity of some of these. You know, we recognize that there are a lot of layers to a lot of these issues. So what our hope is that because there's also contact information on here, like Natasha's a perfect example. She can provide, she with being with SCAPE can provide that information and can kind of help navigate some of the more complex issues regarding this topic. So we're hopeful that at least we're not just dealing with a website that just spits out information at you. There's actually human beings at the end of phone calls, phone numbers that you can reach as well. So we're hoping that will be helpful.
I was trying to get down to the weatherization programs here just to show that we do have them on here to contact.
And Natasha is with the South Carolina Association of Community Action Partnerships. Yes, so there's the weatherization programs. And specifically, I guess I could maybe add a little bit if it is a landlord, you know, let's say they just own a, you know, apartment building or own a building or whatever. I mean, they could obviously apply for programs that are not low income specific, you know, that they are eligible for, you know, whether it be, I guess they could use a commercial, they would use a commercial or industrial program or whatever that their utility may offer, or some other, you know, other entity. But it does not have to be tied specifically to the weatherization assistance program or the low income, you know, status of the tenant. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions coming through the chat. I'll give one last call out to the group if there is anything that we have not covered today. Just let us know. put those in the chat. And then Natasha said the Department of Energy suspended weatherization activities earlier in the year due to COVID. She just needs to check and see if they're back to work. I know that the coronavirus has thrown a wrench in a lot of plans and programs, and you hear about a lot of the folks that need these programs, but when it is requiring someone to go into the home, and it presents a conflict, with someone's health and safety due to COVID, that it's a hard and difficult time and decision. I know that Dominion and the utilities doing the home energy checkup are doing those virtually. So, they're offering someone to call, just a regular phone call, or they're even doing FaceTime or a Zoom call like this. They're trying to work with the customer to see how they can help them best, without actually being physically in the home. Well, we are recording the webinar today, so we will share a link to the recording. So anyone that was not able to join can watch that after the fact. So we'll follow up with that. But we want to thank everyone for joining the webinar today. I don't know, Catherine or Stacey, if you have anything to add before we log off.
Yeah, I would like to just say thank you all for joining us and really appreciate your comments and your interest in this. And again, I think this tool will only be as good as the information we receive from a lot of you. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have updates to the information we're providing or additional needs that perhaps we can incorporate in the future. But we're just grateful for your interest and your participation, and please spread the word. So I will pass it on to Stacey. Do you want to say anything?
Nothing more to add than what you said, but thank you all for your participation. And I reiterate, please let us know things to add, ways to let people know about the tool. We want to make sure everybody knows what's available to them in the state.
Oh, and I want to add one more thing, and that is that basically the heavy lifting for this project really it was Stacy and Landon. They did all the heavy lifting on this. We all kind of participated, the entire team did, and I'm grateful to the Energy Office team. But I think the two leaders in this were Stacy and Landon. I want to recognize that we're excited to see the results of your efforts. So thank you.
Yes, and I will say that if you have a website or any other thing that talks about energy, please link to this website as the source for energy programs, so that consumers can see it from lots of different places. If they come to your website, they can go to this site as well. And I'll say that if you have other opportunities, like for your organization where you want us to do this demonstration or talk about the Energy Saver tool, you can let us know. We'll follow up with all of our contact information as well. I know we got a question about our contact information. We'll send that out in an email. Yeah, just reach out to us if you have any questions. So thank you very much, and we will see you all hopefully virtually next time for a lot of our upcoming webinars. This is just one of the many ones that we have coming up, so check out our website for all those upcoming events.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.